Joey Balistreri. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited because I just got the mail and my dollar bead box was in the mail as well as my dollar bead bag. So the dollar bead box is a monthly subscription and it comes in this box, and look at it this month. Isn't it gorgeous? And I can't wait to share with you what they have printed on the insert this month because it's really amazing. So I will do that, but these little strands here are what come in the dollar bead bag, and it comes in a bag like this. And since I get both, this is always inside the box. And our dollar bead bag is only $8 a month, and it has every month 4 strands that are 3mm check glass faceted rounds and 4 strands that are 4mm check glass faceted rounds. And if you've been on my channel for like 5 seconds or more, you know that I love check glass beads, and these faceted rounds are just so amazing to work with. But I have to share with you their little insert for October. I don't always read these, but they start off with a quote by L.M. Montgomery. "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers." I totally agree. I love this fall season. I just love it as we go into fall. But additionally, October is Adopt a Shelter Dog Month. It's National Positive Attitude Month, and it's National Cookie Month. So what's not to love? You have to love all of those things. Dogs, cookies, and having a positive attitude. So let's dive right into our collection. This is the ingredient list for the dollar bead box. And I'll start with the dollar bead bag. I'll start with our check glass. And I just will say, this is a club, like a price club. So you cannot shop their website unless you are a member, and you can be a member by either subscribing to the $8 a month dollar bead bag, or I can't remember, a $20-ish a month dollar bead box, or you can pay an annual fee of $35. Then you're a member of the club, and when you go on the website, any of these strands are $1, and you can shop as much as you want once you're a member. So it is one of my favorite bead companies. It is a subscription that I started getting many years ago, before I was even on YouTube, and back then it wasn't curated, and now it is. So they do like a collection now. It's a sampler, but now everything really goes together, so it's really fun. I love it. It's reasonably priced, a great customer service, really sweet little website. I can't recommend it enough. I have a discount code, and I'll put all the information and the links in the description box underneath this video if you like what you see and you're new to this. So let's start off with our 3mm check glass strands, and I love the first one. It is a matte jet rose gold. So oftentimes with check glass beads, they layer the finishes, so you're not really seeing the matte jet because that is probably the base glass on this gorgeous little bead. And then when they put the rose gold wash on top, it doesn't actually look rose gold. You just get this beautiful, warm, metallic, slightly matte, slightly shiny. That's one, I think that might be my favorite of the 3mm beads. I just really love that. And then the next 3mm is, we would have gotten either a honey AB or an olive half copper, and I got the olive half copper. So it's the olive check glass bead, and this is only a 3mm bead, but look how amazing the facets are. And then half of each of the beads has a little copper wash on it. So pretty. And then the next one, it would be turquoise, but you would either have half copper or half bronze. And I believe mine is copper. It looks bronzy on a couple of the beads, but those are my favorite metals to mix: gold, copper, and bronze. I love those warm metals, and especially in the autumn. So great. And then our last 3mm strand is a green gold lined Maria bead. So with the Maria beads, you get quite an array of colors, and because of the gold in the bead, you get that like flash and shimmer as you turn it. It's really pretty. And then we'll jump to our 4mm strands. The first one is a crystal topaz with lavender, and as I said, you really have a hard time seeing the lavender because it's a crystal bead with the topaz, and the washes sometimes mingle in the check glass beads, and you don't see all of the layering of the colors but it's there. It's so pretty. And then I always love it when we get the next size or another size in the same bead. So this is the 4mm in the same one that we got in the 3mm. This is a turquoise, and again, you would either receive half copper or half bronze, and I am pretty sure that mine is copper. Looks like it. Under my lights, and I just got a second light to really light up my mat. I was seeing like a shadow over here when I'm working, so I hope that it's still, you know, a good view for you. When I'm editing, I can't see it so well until it goes up on YouTube, and then I can really see a little bit better what my lighting is doing. But it is, I think that I do have the turquoise and copper. And then this is one of my favorite check glass faceted rounds. You would either have gotten, I mean, I love the one that I got. You might have gotten a beige opal that's half copper, but I got the matte vintage bronze, and I absolutely I love all the colors in the gold families, and in the check glass they are just wonderful. This is such a soft gold. It's not flashy or blingy. It's just that beautiful warm gold. It looks like an old world gold to me, and I love it. And this is another favorite. I mean, I guess I have a lot of favorites when I'm looking at beads, but this one we would either have gotten a crystal that is teal lined or a crystal that is gold lined, and clearly I got the gold lined one, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm sure the teal is beautiful as well, but I'm a gold girl and I really love that. And then my favorite bead in the whole box and bag is coming up next. So these here, let me actually pull these out so it won't be confusing. I'll just show you for those of you that are new. So these 8 strands are the dollar bead bag for the month of October, and you know, they are curated and just absolutely wonderful. So I will set those aside and jump to the ingredient list on the dollar bead box. So what is left here is everything that's included in the dollar bead box, and as I said, you can get one or both of these subscriptions. They are 2 separate ones to sign up for. So my favorite bead, I believe it's my favorite in the entire box, and there you would have gotten one of 2 colors, but I love this. This is the 6mm, which for me is the sweet size of a bead. This is the Lucerna bicone, and in your box you would have either gotten the Aqua Peridot or the Cappuccino, and clearly I got the Aqua Peridot, and I just love this bead. This is one of my favorite check glass shapes. I love a pressed bicone. You get the dimensionality and you get all the angles in the bead, but it doesn't have the sharp edges of sometimes like a crystal bicone. It just feels so good, but the dimension in this and what this does when you're stringing it next to rounds or rondelles is just amazing. I love that. I think that I want to do a bracelet, maybe even make a beaded chain out of this, just so that I can see these and play with them. I love it. And then the next one is a 3x5mm glass gem cut rondelle in turquoise, and we got 25 pieces. I love this. I've already designed a project. It happened to me just as I was taking things out of the box. So when I'm finished, I'm going to make a bracelet, and this is going into my bracelet. I love that. And then we got another faceted check glass round. This one is turquoise, half bronze. We got 25 pieces, and this is a 5mm. So I love it when we get the 5mm. I have a ton of 6 and 8s and, you know, the smaller sizes, but this is a very sweet size. Love that. And then aren't these pretty? I have this tulip bead, but in many colors, but I don't have this color, and it is so cool. This is a check glass tulip, and it's maroon with turquoise. It's a 7x10mm, and we got 19 pieces. It actually looks like there's more here than that, but they're kind of a long flower. But look how cool that little tulip is with the turquoise on the tips of every tulip. So pretty. And then this is really cool. This is a tie style square antique copper bead, and there are 55 pieces here. It's a really soft square, like the sections of the square, or the sides of the square I meant to say, are really soft. It does not have sharp corners, so it almost looks like a barrel, but it is really pretty, and I love that copper color. That is gorgeous. And then we received a 4mm light topaz smooth round. This is a check glass druck, and there are 48 pieces here. This is just absolutely wonderful. I love having, this is like a bead that you need in your stash. It's a very high quality bead to use as a spacer. And this neutral color, you can just do so much with that in any of your work, any of your designs. And then next up is an 8x10mm 5-color mix check glass twisted oval. I have had this mix before. I did something earlier this year with this mix, but I think it was a smaller size. This is the 8x10mm. So there are 15 pieces here, and they are just beautiful. All the colors are beautiful. It is so pretty, and it has a really pretty luster on this bead. Love having that. And then the next is 2 pieces of this opaque turquoise check glass starburst. This is 12x4mm. That is a beautiful bead. This is one of my favorite beads. I love this. I don't have this color, but I just love that perfect cameo shape with that little starburst, and it's very dimensional. It's, you know, it's embossed in there quite deeply, and it's just really beautiful. And then I also have this flower bead in exactly this color, but I am never sad to get more check glass flowers, and this is a really beautiful one. This is a check glass floral square, and you would have gotten one of 2 colors, either crystal beige with aqua, but I got the opaque beige with aqua, and I prefer the opaque beige. Again, I love the one that I got. I have this, I've done something with this just in the past few months as well, so I'm thrilled to have those. This is beautiful. I don't have a pair of earrings out of these little flowers, and that would be perfect. And I'll tell you, they put something in our box this month that makes me think with these beads that we can just sit and make earrings. On the list is a 9x20 check glass drop, and it is aqua with a travertine finish on the glass, and we got 2 pieces, so you can see the travertine kind of wash on both ends. But this is just the most stunning, beautiful color, and I love that it has these really soft facets all the way around the teardrop shape. So beautiful. What a stunning pair of earrings that would make. Up next is a check glass table cut bead. This is a Y bead, and this is brown with opal travertine, and we just got one of these so you can make a focal with it, but it's table cut, so you can see that really flat, smooth, shiny side, and it's on both sides, and it has a little triangle in the middle, and that is just a really sweet bead. So nice for a focal bead to you know, make a pendant or even a dangle on a bracelet. And then we got another glass bicone bead. This is a 6x8mm. Let me get a little piece of wire. This is the coolest bicone. Again, it has those really soft edges, so you get the dimensionality but nothing sharp, but it is very dimensional. This one is a beige marbled travertine, and we got 8 pieces, and again, that 6x8mm size. For me, that is just the sweet size, the perfect size in a bead. I just love that. And then we got a whole package of antique bronze ear wires. There are 8 pieces in here, which that's why I said when I see like 2 of these, 4 of these, when I see what we got, and even this mix we haven't gotten to yet, but if you have gifts to make or if you do craft fairs, sit down and make some earrings. Cut these beads apart and make some earrings. And what this makes me think of, because I like to make some handmade things like earrings or bookmarkers, just small, easy things to make, put them in organza bags and have them in my purse or tote bag when I go anywhere. If I am in a restaurant and I have a really great waitress, or, you know, if I travel, if if I take any kind of a trip and anyone helps me along the way, I love to pull a little gift out of my bag. Oftentimes I'll look at what color their clothing is. You know, I'll have 2 or 3 selections in my bag, and I'll look at what color shirt they've chosen for the day and kind of see what I have that goes with what they have on, because chances are if they're wearing that color, it's one that they like. So that's just something I do. And when I see a little package of ear wires like that, it makes me think what a sweet what a sweet thing that is to do when you're out and about. And then I have these as well, but I am not sad to get more of them. These are so pretty. This is an 8x16 little copper drop charm. There's 2 pieces, so you can easily make ear wires, earrings out of this, but these also are perfect if you need a little dangle at the end of an extender chain. And since there's 2, if you did a set with these beads where you did a bracelet and a necklace and did an extender chain on both pieces, you could make your set, really match nicely with those. And they're really lightweight. They're metal, they're very detailed, the embossing is very detailed, really beautiful shape to them. So that would just be perfect to do that with. And then we got 2 pieces of this check glass Star of Ishtar bead. This bead looks like a snowflake to me. It really evokes winter to me. And there are 2 color choices in this, either a white alabaster, but clearly I got the silver rose with the gold wash. So it's really I love that wash. It's very neutral. And again, because of the silver and the gold wash, that just looks very wintry to me. It looks very snowflake bead to me. So that may have to be some earrings for the upcoming season. And then I'm never sad to add leaves to my stash. This is a check glass leaf. Sometimes the wash, I can see that the wash on the copper wash on this has kind of filled up the hole. I have like a little reamer for that, or maybe this is just too thick for it. But this is a little check glass leaf. It's dark green opal with a copper wash, and we got 6 pieces, and I just love the detail on the check glass leaves. I love the shape. It's very organic and very like a natural leaf, and then the wash just brings out all the veining, so it really looks just like a leaf in nature. And then these are gorgeous, and I think that I'm going to use this in my project today. This is a check glass butterfly, and it is a matte and aqua like mix of colors. So there's they are a little bit dark and they are matte, but there's a lot of dimension in this little butterfly. There's all kinds of embossing for his wings, the center of his body, 2-sided. And so this is a bead where the drill hole goes up the middle, but I think I am going to turn this into a button for the bracelet project that I plan to do, and I'll show you how I plan to do that. But this is so gorgeous because there are 2. You could also do earrings, and then again you can also do charms or dangles for bracelet or necklace. So it's just this sampler is just so much fun in that regard, that you don't get like a huge strand of things like that, but just enough to really do a great design. And then I'm so sad to get to the last item, but in my little nut dish here is a copper metallic mix. It's matte red copper, and it's check glass, but it looks like metal. It really does look like metal, but it is a glass mix. And this mix, I am going to dump this out, and this is going to be a big part of my bracelet. I mean, I just love the beads in this mix. There's this wavy disc bead with a hole in the center. There are these gorgeous cylinder beads. They're like elongated, I lost the word, not triangle, rectangle. The word just flew right out of my head. But there are quite a few of those in here. There are all kinds. There's some little bibo beads in here, some little drops. It's a beautiful mix, even some little cube beads. They may make their way when I start my bead stringing pattern, but I just love that color. It looks like metal, but it's very satiny, and it is glass. What a fabulous, I can get totally lost in a good bead mix. They are so much fun. So I'm gonna just clean up my mat, and we're gonna make a bracelet together. Just be a second for you. Okay, I have pulled out the things from the box that I think will make it into my bracelet. I love these little rondelles. I am going to try to turn that little butterfly into like a button type closure. And I kind of sorted through the copper mix here and just pulled out my favorite shapes. I had 4 little cube beads. I had a bunch of these little triangles that have kind of like the tip of the triangle flattened, and there's one of these. And so I recently did a girls bead shopping trip in South Florida, and in one of the shops they had a little thing of findings, and I got these oversized wavy disc spacers, and look how perfect they are with the check glass wavy spacers in copper. So if you have noticed, I am adding in gold. I'm going to do like a mix of gold and copper in this, and I have this little set here of Tibetan spacer beads. This is an Amazon find, and I like that these have large holes. I was thinking that this one might be a good way to transition with this particular bead, but when I start stringing I will make those determinations. And I have here a bracelet length a little bit longer because I need to make a couple of loops, and this is the Soft Flex 49 strand copper color bead stringing wire. And as always, I have gone into my seed bead stash and pulled out some copper and some gold seed beads in 8/0s and 11/0s. And when I start stringing, I'll see if I need those, but they are here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this little butterfly bead on my bead stringing wire. And then I'm going to take a number 2 crimp tube, and since I'm mixing copper and gold, I could really use either, but I chose the copper this time. And I'm just going to feed this wire, this end wire, through that tube and pull it as tightly as I can underneath the butterfly bead and crimp it. I'm going to use my magical crimping plier here. I really, for this type of a closure, you just can't beat it because it looks like it's going to look like a little tiny copper bead behind the butterfly, and it's, you know, it's just unobtrusive. And what I love about it is a non-jewelry maker would look at this bracelet and have absolutely no idea how it's held together, because the crimp bead looks like it's a bead, not a functioning part of the mechanics of the bracelet. So I'm having a little trouble getting it centered. That's the only trick to this. You have to be patient and kind of pull your wires, because I want the crimp bead to be centered right underneath the butterfly so it looks like a button. So I'm going to get my magical crimping plier, and sometimes you can, once you have it centered, there we go, just going to fit that tube into the plier, and I'm going to pull it up if I can a little bit before I crimp. That looks good. Crimp it down so see the 4 corners are pinched, and then go in the opposite direction and close again. Well, I didn't get it. Make sure I feel that it's in the center. There we go. And I'm just going to go around opening and closing the tool and turning that little copper tube into a little bead. So pretty. There. So my butterfly is now ready to have a loop. When I get to this end, I'm going to make a loop, and that's going to go over this little butterfly. And I do not think that these 2 strands will fit through any of my beads. In fact, I'm pretty sure they won't. I'm looking at the holes and I can tell, so I'm going to go ahead and trim away that. And I think I'm going to start, since I have a copper here, let me see, put some gold seed beads out. And this part is, this is a very simple stringing pattern, stringing project I meant to say. And I love this part. Sometimes when I'm filming, it's a little bit difficult because I like to take my time and play with the patterns, put things on, take them off until I'm truly happy with the way that it looks. So I may pause the camera and kind of come back and show you what I've worked out, because it would be so boring to sit here and watch me go, oh, I like that, on, off, on, off. So I don't usually do that. I'm going to go to the little cube beads here. I want to get as much turquoise in as I can. So one of the things that I like to play with when I have like a few of each shape bead is, instead of color blocking, pattern blocking. So I'm thinking of doing a section of the cube beads and then a section of the disc beads, and kind of like creating blocks so the bracelet just transitions from one pattern to the next. It's really pretty as it goes around your wrist. No matter which way it turns, you always have something interesting all the way around. So I'm going to play with that idea. Okay, I have my length really good, and that's what I mean about kind of the pattern blocking. I do like to see things in odd numbers when possible, so I only had 4 of the cube beads in my mix, so I grouped 3 of them together here and then put one by itself. And I just love this little section. It was so fortunate that I had just found these oversized wavy disc spacers on my trip. And I took one of the little Tibetan like spaceship beads, it's like a lantern bead, out of this mix that I showed you, and I can link this below if it's still available. I have had this little selection of spacer beads for a really long time. It lasts forever. I'll research my orders, and if I can find it, I will link it in the description box. I just fit in 2 of those cylindrical beads and just made a little pattern with the triangle beads, and so pretty sure that once I get my loop on, I've got my length really good. So the next step from here is to make a seed bead loop. So I dumped out some of these copper colored 11-0 seed beads, and I'm just going to make a loop, and sometimes I'll even do a pattern in my loop. And so I just need to fill this up. Oh, wait, I forgot. I have to put the crimp tube on first. I would have to unstring it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my crimp tube. So once you get your length, if you're doing this along with me, once you get the length that you like, go ahead and string your crimp tube there, and then you're going to create a loop. You actually don't have to fill if you're using the soft flex wire. You actually can just do a loop with the wire, but I kind of like the dimension of the seed beads. So I'm just going to like fill a loop here with seed beads, and sometimes I even do a little pattern, like every 4th bead put a gold or something else from my mix, and I just want to get a size that will loop over my butterfly bead. So just string this up. Okay, so once I just did a little pattern here. I did 4 copper 11-0s and then one of my 8-0 seed beads and 4 copper till I had my length. And what I'm going to do next is just back all these out and loop this back through that copper crimp tube, and I know that it won't go through the check glass rondelle, but I'm pretty sure that it goes through that gold 8-0 seed bead. We'll see. If it's possible to feed your wire down through, just so you can trim away what you're cutting, kind of away from your closure. And I will say something about seed beads for those of you who are not familiar with the different types of seed beads. Oh, it looks like that loop may not even be big enough. But I do like to do this so that before I commit to a crimp, so that I don't have to restring, I like to go ahead and pull my wire back through and check to see. Oh, actually, I did get it pretty good. Look at that. It actually is perfect. It looked really small once I did it. So I digress. My thought was to share with you that it's always good in any of your projects when you're using metallic seed beads to look for the labels that say Permafinish galvanized, because that means that the gold won't darken and it doesn't rub off easily. I mean, it lasts a really, really long time. They do cost a little bit more than regular seed beads, like this tube was $3.25, but it's really worth it, and especially if you're doing metallic in a loop closure like this, because these will be rubbing, you know, as you wear the bracelet and take it on and off. So that way, you know, you don't end up having in a few months of wear to cut your bracelet open and restring it and, you know, freshen up the seed beads. So I'm happy with my loop size, and now I just want to check and make sure that I don't have a rigid bracelet and any weird gaps. I do have a little gap right there, but I don't want this to be tight. I want this to be flowing around my wrist. But I don't really like seeing spaces like that either, so it looks like I need to do a little adjusting before I can crimp. Okay, I think I am ready. I'm going to just make sure that gold seed bead is out of the way, because I don't want to chomp down with my magical crimping plier and break that last seed bead. And you do need a little bit of space with this plier, and you could do this with a fold over crimp, you know, a normal crimp, and then put a crimp cover on it. But I really love this. As I say, when this is turned into, this tube is turned into a little bead, a non-jewelry maker will look at that and have no idea that that little bead there is doing the function of holding this bracelet together. And I just quite love that. I think it is enchanting. I just love it. So essentially this sweet little bracelet, as everybody knows, you can't clasp a bracelet when the camera is rolling, but essentially this sweet little bracelet is done. I have turned a butterfly check glass butterfly bead into a button closure for this little bracelet. Look how cute that is. I just love it. I love this section here with those wavy spacers. I love the mix of copper and gold and turquoise. That is also a big trend coming up, is kind of that Western kind of cowgirl is making a comeback. And for me, like these warm metals and that turquoise color just really fits right in with that style. So the only thing I will do is I did take some ball head pins from my stash, because I cannot help myself. I feel like I always need to add a little dangle, a little something. So I think I want to make this a little bit more substantial of a pattern here. So let me do one of my rondelles, and I'm going to repeat the same little pattern for the dangle that I did here. I think I actually have another one of those little daisy spacers. Is that the one I used? I think this is the one I used. Whoops. Put a little metal there. So I'm just repeating the little pattern that's in my bracelet on this charm, and it's just a sweet little detail. I love that. And my head pins are brass, but they are really, really fine gauge. So I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop here. So for those of you brand new to wire working, you just get a hold of the wire right where it's coming out of that last bead. And I gave it a 90-degree bend, and I want this to be really small. So I'm going to come down to the small tip on my pliers and wrap that around, rotate that barrel out of my way, and pull this wire around that barrel. I've made a really, really small loop on this one, but that's okay. It's a really petite little charm. And I'm just going to get a hold of that loop and just wrap down to my beads. As I said, my head pin wire, they are solid brass, and they're really nice head pins, but they're very fine. So I'm going to get my pliers to help me. And I'm just going to trim away, trim and tuck. Just make sure, especially since it's a dangle on a bracelet, that there is nothing sharp, nothing to grab clothes. So I have like this sweet, sweet little charm, and I need to just get a jump ring. Do I have one here? No, I do not. I make my own jump rings out of 20 gauge wire that has an anti-tarnish coating, and I'm going to take kind of like, let's see, maybe this little 4mm. Let's get it untangled. And I have, if you've watched my videos before, then what I'm about to do will not be new to you. But if you are new to my channel, this is one of my little bracelet tricks. I like to take my jump ring, and rather than attach it through a loop or, you know, through a toggle, I like to grab the entire circumference of my piece and then put my charm on. And when you do that, your charm goes around the bracelet, to lay this down so it doesn't pop out. When you do that, your charm goes around the bracelet 360 degrees, and it doesn't get caught or stuck. And then no matter which way you pick up your bracelet and attach it to your wrist, this just goes around and around. It will never be stuck. If whichever side you attach your bracelet on, you will have your little charm landing just right. So this beautiful, quick, fun stringing project is done. I will clean up my mat and put up some pictures at the end of the video. I did leave this out here because I think that I am going to do a beaded chain with this bead, just because I love it so much. A beaded chain bracelet, and I was thinking they would be a beautiful complement to each other. So a simple beaded chain, put a clasp on it. I probably will use these same gold seed beads and just have a bracelet that I can stack or wear alone, just because I really love this little bicone bead. So I left it out here kind of for inspiration, but I will put links. Don't forget to check the description box. I will put links to Dollar Bead Club and other information, my tools. I always list all my favorite tools and anything that I have found that I think you might be interested in for your own work. The links are always there, and if you use them, it helps out the channel, but it doesn't cost you anything. So I hope everybody is safe and well, and those of you that on my part of the world, I have to digress a bit. If you were impacted by Hurricane Helene, in my area, I was really fortunate that we were not. We had bad weather, but no damage. But my friend that I've done a video at her house on Anna Maria Island, I did a video a few months back. They have a lot of damage. They can't even get to the house to assess the damage yet. The police are not letting anyone in. There's no power on the island. My understanding is all the streets are flooded. So I can update you guys on that, but for those of you that were impacted, and even my friend Stella of DD Beads up in Canada, she was saying that that storm may even impact her area, so it was pretty far reaching. So I hope that everyone has gotten the help that they need, and you know, there were some lives lost in this storm, so my heart goes out to those families. So I do thank you so much for watching. Happy October, everybody. I hope you're all safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, creative friends.